Hi everyone. Hey everybody, welcome and thanks for joining me this week for our weekly card class, weekly live card class. My name is Jana Edwards and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Corpus Christi, Texas. And I go live twice a week to show you how to use your stamps, ink, and paper to create really cute projects. And this week we are working with some really cute Stampin' Up! Products. They are the Storybook Moments. They're products from the Storybook Moments Suite of products. And the dies and stamps are currently on the last chance list. So it's a great time to grab these products before they're gone. And the paper that we're using, the Designer Series paper, is still current. You can find it as an online exclusive in my online store. You can find all of the details and information for the projects that we did during this week's Coffee and a Card on Tuesday. If you missed it, they're on my blog at stampedinink.com. You can go there and it should be the first two blog posts on my blog. And I don't know what is going on with my voice right now. Give me just a second. I'm going to take a drink real quick. It's really funny. Where I live, I don't know if it's the barometric pressure, but every time that we get rain or the weather changes here in the area, my ears clog up and my voice tightens. I don't know, it's just really weird how it affects me. So bear with me today and I will do the best I can at talking. I may have to take a few more sips of water today. I have just a few, give me just a second. Trying to make sure I haven't forgotten anything. I have just a few announcements for you. Stampin' Up's got some really great specials going on right now. I'm going to, let me get those up for you. So right now is the Paper Pumpkin subscription for Paper Pumpkin for October. It's the Cozy Christmas. If you didn't, let me grab, if you haven't, if you don't know what Paper Pumpkin is, it is a monthly subscription kit that you can do pay as you go. You can pay for 3 months at one time, you can pay for 6 months at one time, or you can even pay for an entire year, and then after that year is over, you won't get any more. But you pay, if you do 3, 6, or 12 months, you pay for all of that up front. You also get Stampin' rewards for that. Here are some of the cards from, let me put it this way, here we go, from October. You can see the cards. This was from the September kit. So that was one of the cards. Here's the other one. And then here's the third one. So if you didn't get your kit, this is how you get an instruction booklet with your kit. That shows you all the cards and it gives you all the instructions on how to create the cards, and then you get card bases, stamp sets. With your first kit, you do receive a block for your kit. Hang on just a second. I am still trying to figure out how to work this. You receive a block with your first kit, and then after that you won't receive another block, so make sure that you do hang on to that block in your first kit. The kit is $27, and like I said, you can sign up to pay as you go, and then if you decide you don't want a month, you can put that month on hold. You can, cancel, put your subscription on hold, whatever you'd like to do. So that's Paper Pumpkin. There was a QR code on that frame. If you scan that QR code, it'll take you to the Paper Pumpkin site so that you can register for Paper Pumpkin. Okay. Also, there is starting October the 1st, Stampin' Up! Is offering a join offer. And it is, you get $125 worth of product for $35, or you can choose to get $189 for $99. Great value. There's a QR code that'll take you to the website if you would like to join. It'll take you to my blog, which has a little bit more information for you before you actually join. And it will give you just a little bit of information on what to expect, things you do and don't have to do. And then there's a link at the bottom that says build your kit. You can click that link and go on to order your kit. But if you order Stampin' Up! Products, on a monthly basis, or if you're one of my customers who orders quite often, $35 for $125 worth of product is really not a bad deal. And then you can receive your 20% discount off of all your future orders. You also get Stampin' Rewards. Demonstrators get extra perks, and they also get the customer perks as well. So as a demonstrator, you'll still get your 10% Stampin' Rewards, and you receive 20% discount on all of your future orders. So that's a great deal. If you're interested and you'd like some more information, please just email me at jana@stamptoninc.com. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. Okay. Let's see. Let me figure this out again. Okay, hold please. Let me do this. There we go. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna grab the projects that we did on Tuesday. I go live twice a week, Tuesdays at 10 a.m. and Thursdays at 3 p.m. What I do is every week I choose a Stampin' Up! Product, whether it's a bundle, a suite, a standalone stamp set, and I create 4 projects with that product. I create 2 projects on Tuesday and 2 projects on Thursday. And if you place a $50 order in my online store before Sunday of that week, I will send you the card kits in the mail as a free thank you from me for placing that order. And if you want to create the projects just like mine, you just need to have the bundle or whatever products that we used that week for those projects. And there's usually a supply list in the description of the videos. If not, you can always go to my blog, and I put a link to a supply list under each one of the pictures with the measurements. I also list measurements for all of the projects on my blog. If you're interested in getting any freebies that I offer a free fun fold card, whichever fun fold that we do for the week. I create a PDF for that, and I send that as a freebie to my email newsletter subscribers. So if you would like that, go to my email newsletter link in the description and sign up for my email newsletter. I'd love to have you as part of my community, on my email newsletter. So, all right, I'm going to turn my screen down. And there we go. These are the cards that we created on Tuesday. This one is the one that we actually created. This is the one that is on my blog. I changed the colors a little bit. For this one, I used Cajun Craze for the pots, but I found that I liked the color of pecan pie instead. Also, let me tell you, I discovered something while I was putting my supply list together. The stamp set that I used for my sentiment, it doesn't look like it's available anymore. The dies are still available, but the stamp set is not available. So I apologize for that. But these are the 2 cards that we created on Tuesday. Okay. That's what we're creating what we created Tuesday, and then this will be one of the cards we're creating today. And this is the other one. We're creating a cute Z fold today. All right. So both of those, we're using the Storybook Garden Patch stamp set. It is a red cling stamp set. Also, another thing, Stampin' Up! Is they're retiring all of their red cling. They're no longer going to manufacture red cling because it's getting harder and harder for them to source the red rubber. So they're going strictly to photopolymer, which is the clear stamp sets, and they're also changing their packaging. The packaging for the stamp sets are going to be coming in, it'll be coming in something like this, like your, so like what the packaging that you receive your dies in, they're going to start putting the stamp sets in the envelopes like the dies come. And I think that has already gone into effect. I think some people have said that they have already started receiving those. So, okay, let's get started with our card. I'm going to remove my face so you can have a full view of my desktop. With your kit, if you place your $50 order and you receive a kit in the mail, you'll receive a piece of very vanilla cardstock to do your stamping. And you'll receive all the pieces that you need to create the cards, even the embossing, any embossing and die cutting that aren't part of the bundle or featured products that I use today, that will be included in your kit as well. So you'll receive your card base, which is Early Espresso card base, and then we have a sheet for the inside, which is a very vanilla sheet, and then your Mossy Meadow sheet here. And then you'll also receive the designer series paper that's cut out. Okay, but I can't do any stamping or coloring for you. It's against Stampin' Up policy for us to send any pre-stamped images. Like I said, if you're here watching today, please leave me a comment and let me know that you're here. I would love to know that you're here with me today. Okay, I'm going to grab the pot stamp, the watering can, and the little rake, pitchfork, whatever you want to call it. We're going to stamp these onto the very vanilla cardstock. And then we're going to color. We'll color these and then we'll die cut them out. Okay, I am using Stampin' Blends to color these. I'm going to grab my Secret Sea, Pecan Pie, Old Olive, Gray Granite, and my color lifter. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the pot, and I'm going to use my dark Pecan Pie to go ahead and just color in my pot, but I'm going to use the brush tip. And I'm just creating a little shadow where the artist left the dark lines. When I add I'm going to go over this and blend it all together with the light pecan pie. And we'll just blend it together. I'm also going to use the bronze colored Stampin' Up marker just to add a little bit more, a little darker shadow on this. This is just the bronze. It's a set that comes together, and I think it's there's a lighter color. Okay. Then we're going to go with the dark cloud cover and just color in our watering can here. Also going to use my Misty Moonlight to add a little darker shading to the water can and age it just a little bit too. Oh, hello. Thanks for joining me today. That's nice. I bet Utah is really nice this time of year. Thanks for stopping by and tuning in today. Yes, I love their markers. I get a little involved sometimes when I'm coloring, trying to stay in the lines, and I forget to look up at my comments. So if it takes me a minute to chat with you, just be patient with me. I live in Corpus Christi, Texas, which is, I don't even know how far that is from Utah, but I know it's not close. Okay, I'm going to grab my light Misty Moonlight, and I'm going to just add a little bit of shading on the watering can, and then I'm going to take the cloud cover and just blend that in. I just play with them sometimes until I get the color exactly how I want it. Okay, I'm going to use my Misty Moonlight, and I'm going to, oh, I want the dark one. I'm going to just fleck some droplets onto here just to make it look a little aged. If you missed it, this is the card that we're creating right here. We're going to create this card, and I lost my other one. This one here. We're using the Storybook Moments. All right. I'm going to do the same thing with pumpkin pie and see if that gets me. And I'm getting this all over my work surface too. Good thing about that is if I spray a little bit of alcohol onto a napkin or piece of paper towel and you wipe it, it just comes right up. That's one thing I love about their markers too. It's easy cleanup. How long have you lived in Utah? All right, now I'm going to grab the dark gray granite and we're just going to color. We're going to give a little shadow to our rake here. Thank you. I'm glad you like them. My upline is actually, her name is Erica Serwin, and she was just in Utah for her $1 million sales meeting, her awards banquet, and she had a really good time. Stampin' Up! Is really good about rewarding their demonstrators too, just like their customers, I think. All right, so I have all three of those. I'm gonna grab my dies and my Stampin' Cut and Emboss, and we're going to die cut these out, and then we'll start building our card. I have the watering can, the pot, and the little fork. Fork, rake, pitchfork, I don't know what you want to call it. To me, I would think it's not really a rake, it's more like a pitchfork because a rake has a lot more prongs on it, usually typically. I'm using a little bit of Post-it note tape to hold these in place. I have lived here in Texas my whole life. I was born in one of the hospitals downtown. I went to the same high school as my parents. But I used to travel with work. My full-time job used to take me all over the place. I've worked in Oklahoma and Mississippi, and now this is my full-time job, and I love it. Okay. There's our watering can. I really like die cutting. So much better than fussy cutting. Gardening fork. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Put those up for now. Now I'm going to grab our card bases. I'm going to go ahead and add this to the inside of our card. I'm just going to use a little bit of Stampin' Seal. I have a friend that lives in Illinois, and if Iowa is anything like Illinois, it's so green. And I loved to go visit her. My husband's parents live in Oklahoma, and you can see the seasons change up there, and that's one thing I love about it. We don't get to see the seasons change down here. It's so hot, everything just dies in the summer, and then it doesn't start getting green again until the spring. But we have had some rain lately, and I looked out my window and I do have some flowers blooming right now. Okay, I'm gonna grab my Stylish Shapes dies. We're gonna use the largest square. And I'm using a piece of Mossy Meadow cardstock, and I'll have all of these, I will have all of the measurements on my blog later this afternoon or first thing in the morning. What I'm doing is I am just kind of centering this at the top, making sure, you know, left to right, and on the top, making sure it's all centered to create this window right here. Can you see that? There's a window right in here, and this piece of designer series paper is behind it. So we're going to create that window by just cutting this square out of this piece of cardstock. Then save the square because you can use it for another project. Okay, so when I set that aside there, now I'm going to grab it's called the Damask Designs embossing folder. It's this folder here. And I'm going to layer my cardstock I only need, since this is a regular embossing folder, I only need plates 1 and then 2 of the number 3 plates. So we'll feed this. It has snowed here in South Texas 3 times my entire life. What was it, in 2004? And then again in 2017, I think. And then we got like a little bit of snow on the 2 days back to back in 2017. Okay. So I'm going to grab the designer series paper pack. There is a sheet in here that has, it's this sheet right here, and I want to cut this piece right here. So if you've ever done a one sheet wonder, this sheet is like your one sheet wonder sheet. So you just cut it. If you cut this side first, you cut here first, and then you cut all of these at 3, 6, 9, 12. You cut each one of these at 3 inches, and it'll give you each one of these panels. Then if you turn it in half and you cut it this way at 6 inches, it'll give you all of these panels. Does that make sense? And then you can cut all of these apart. So I'm going to grab my cutter, zoom out so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to line this edge up at the 3-inch mark here. Move these. I'm going to move my markers over. I'll line this up at the 3-inch mark. Nope, sorry, at the 4-inch mark. So you'll cut this one at 4 inches. See how that cut perfect? 4 inches, and then I'm going to cut at 6. It's going to give me that panel. Then I'm going to cut it at 3. Cut just a hair off There we go. So then if you cut this piece off, then you would have these two and you could use these for card fronts. I also, for our other card, I need this piece right here, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that too. I'm going to line this up at 6 inches. Cut it. And we're going to line it up at 2 inches and cut. I'm going to put this in with our other card because I know I'm going to need that. And then we'll put these two other panels up. Oh. Hold on, I'm trying to zoom in a little bit. Oh, that's too far. There we go. Okay, perfect. Okay. Now what I want to do is I'm going to grab my silicone mat so I don't get glue all over my work surface. I'm going to turn this over, so I'm going to turn it face down, and I'm going to just put some glue right along the inside edge of this square so we can put our designer series paper up against this. Make sure your flowers are going in the right direction. And then I'm going to just make sure that it's straight. Wiggle it around a little bit, make sure it's straight. Okay, grab my card base. We'll add some glue to the rest of this. The paper is called the Storybook Moments Specialty Designer Series paper. It has a whole sheet of nothing but laser cuts, which is really cool. We're going to use one of those for this one of the laser cuts for this project too. I like it. So I forgot to add the my twine right here. It's okay. I'll just tie a bow and add it to the edge. I got ahead of myself. It happens, right? Okay. So the laser cut sheet has all of these images that you can just punch out, and I'm looking for, there's some strawberries that I need to find. So I already took, you get 2 sheets of these laser cuts in this designer series paper. I already took one of the sheets and punched it out, so now I get to play, or did I already take, no, look, it's right here. I don't need to do that. Okay, here we go. I was smart today. Okay, so now I just need to put these back in here. You can do so much with these. You make so many cards, scrapbooking. They really made it easy with this. This was, these products came out in our I think it was one of our mini catalogs last spring. And it's just carried over. Okay, so I'm going to take the strawberries and I'm going to cut a slit right here between the little vine and that strawberry. Because what I want to do is I want to make it look like it's sitting inside, like some are sitting inside the pot and some are hanging over the edge. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue, just a dot of glue right here to the back side of the end of the strawberries, and right here just a little dot of glue right there to the end, to the front, to the back, to the front side and the back side, okay? Because I'm going to put it just like this, and I want this to stick here and this one to stick there. Then I want to add some Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to add one right here to the bottom, and then one right here in the center. Then I'm going to add a couple of small ones to the top, right there. Take these backs off. And I'm going to add my pot right there. Then I'm going to grab the watering can. I'm going to layer the watering can like this. So I only want a dimensional here in the center and one right here over on the side, because this the spout is going to be on top of the clay pots, so it doesn't need to have dimensionals underneath it. So I'm going to grab my scissors and just cut a small sliver for this handle here. Put the pot there, and there it is, my fork. So I want a Stampin' Dimensional on the prongs, and then a small Stampin' Dimensional at the top, because the center is going to be laying across the watering can, so it can be just one level. Like so. I'm going to grab a drink real quick. If you haven't, the sentiments I'm using today came from, where is it at? The More Messages. This right here, it's one big stamp set, or one big stamp. It's like a background stamp, and it comes together. So what I did was I used my Stamparatus and just stamped it, got a good stamp on a large piece of paper, and then you take the coordinating die and it cuts up all of your labels for you. So it cuts everything out for you. So you can do it on, you can cut them out on lots of different colored cardstock, and then you just have, you have a whole bowl full of sentiments that you can use. So I just picked the one that says you're simply incredible. I'm going to add some Stampin' Dimensionals to the back of this label. And I'm going to put it right there. Then I'm going to grab, we'll add a little bow. Just do a double bow off to the side. So I'm taking my linen thread and I'm just looping it over. If you've watched any of my videos, you've seen me do this 100 times. And I'm just, my tail's not long enough. Okay, so you're just folding it over to give yourself 2 pieces of linen thread. And then you just make your bunny ears, loop it over, pull it through, and then you just manipulate it to the size that you want. Remember to cut that loop so that you have your 2 tails, and then cut that end. I'm going to grab my glue dots. I will add a glue dot to the center there. And I'm going to add that bow right there. I think I want to go ahead and add, I didn't do this to my original, but I'm going to go ahead and add some antique pearls. I'm going to put one right there. And then we're going to go here and one of the smaller ones right there. There's our first card. Okay. Now we're going to create this card right here. So we're going to start with a crumb cake card base. And then we have this piece of designer series paper that we cut. We have 2 arches, one in crumb cake and one in old olive. I'm going to grab a piece of pecan pie. I just need a scrap. Sorry. This should be good. Right here. And I'm going to use my ugly paper here. I'm going to grab a blending brush and my pecan pie ink. And I'm just going to add some shading onto this piece of cardstock so you can see how I have my shading on my pot here. I'm going to just shade this and then we'll die cut it. I don't think that's... Okay. Just want to get some ink into the bristles. Gonna add some shading here. And then we're gonna die cut our little pot out. I also want to grab a piece of Lost Lagoon. I just need a scrap. We're gonna do the same thing. So I'm gonna use just a scrap piece of paper, my Lost Lagoon ink, and my blue blending brush. Okay. So instead of coloring and die cutting, we're going to do some paper piecing. So we're going to use the other dies. In our set, and we're going to piece these together. Okay, so I want my pot for sure. So I'm going to put that one here. Actually, I think I'm going to put the pot like this. Then I want these, what looks like these 3 little circles here. That's going to be our, like your depth, your shading for your pot. So I'm going to put the watering can here, and then you have the other piece for the watering can. It moved. Okay. Here it is. So I'm going to add some glue. Just a few little dots of glue here. If I can get it to come out. And I'm going to do the same to this piece here. Uh-oh, I need to take this piece out. There we go. If you are using multi-purpose liquid adhesive, if you let it sit for a little while, it becomes tacky and then it doesn't get, you don't get it everywhere. Does that make sense? It doesn't like get all over everything. It doesn't smush out or anything like that. So I'm just going to let that sit for a minute. Well, there we go. I'm going to let that sit for a minute, and I'm going to go ahead and build our card. So we're starting with our card base. It's a crumb cake card base, and it is, what is this? 4 and, I always forget, 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4 and 2 1/8. So we're going to fold it like normal, and then this top flap on our 2 1/8 score line is going to fold backwards, and that's what's going to make your Z fold. Okay, this piece, I'm going to cut it down to, it's already 2 1/8, so I'm going to cut it down to 5 3/8. Okay, then I'm gonna add some glue, and I'm gonna glue it down to this panel right here. And make sure my carrots are pointing the right direction. Okay, now I need another piece of, I need this side, this pattern side of this piece, so I'm gonna cut this piece right here. So we're gonna cut this at 4. Four by 5 3/8. And then we'll add our panel to the inside of the card. Is everybody still with me? Add that here. Then I should have, I'm gonna go ahead and stick these down because I don't want it to dry completely. I just want it to be tacky. So we're gonna layer this right on top. Just like so. And then this one, I find it's easier to line up the bottom, to line it up at the bottom here. And then, whoops. Do you see how it gives it dimension? Can you see that piece? And then the clay pot too. It just gives it a little bit of dimension. And I'm gonna go over it with some Stampin' Blends to make it just a little bit darker. I want to age it too and give it a little, we're gonna spritz it with a little bit of our markers. I'm gonna grab my dark pecan pie and my dark misty moonlight, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of, just age it a little bit. I need Lost Lagoon. There we go, dark Lost Lagoon. I'm gonna do this, wrong side. Go. Okay. Now I need my very vanilla piece on the inside. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut that. We're gonna cut it down to 3 3/4 by 5. I'm gonna use Stampin' Up's journaling pen. It's a it's a 0.4 pen, and I'm just going to use it to just draw a line, just to give this piece just a little bit of depth. Draw a little border. Doesn't have to be straight. I'm okay with it being messy. I'm going to flip this over. And we're going to layer this on the inside of our card. Like so. I'm going to set these to a side so they can dry. Then I'm going to grab, I should have, okay, hold please. Here they are. Okay, my two arches. So I'm going to grab my messy paper, my green blending brush, my old olive ink. I'm going to add some depth to this piece of old olive cardstock. I'm just going to shade the middle. You can also skip this step. You don't have to do it. I like the way it looks. Okay, I'm going to grab my old olive marker and do a little splatter. You can also, if you don't have the markers and you like the splatter look, you can also use a spritzer, which is something like this. You can use a spritzer and you can put alcohol in it and add just a couple of drops of your ink refill and just make a spritzer, an alcohol spritzer for your paper. All right, I'm going to layer these two arches together. Pardon me, I had to sneeze. I'm going to layer those together. I'm going to grab my linen thread. We're going to loop it over. We're going to double it and then tie it around our two arches. I think this is my favorite Stampin' Up! Embellishment, is the linen thread. Okay, I'm going to cut this, and then I'm going to cut this. I'm going to just maneuver it over to the left side. Then I'm going to use some tear and tape to line up against the edge. Oh, wrong side, Jana. Hold. If I work quick, I can get this off of here without messing it up. I only want the tape on the left side because it's going to adhere to this front flap, and when you open your card, you want it to open this way. So I'm only going to adhesive. I'm only going to put adhesive on this left-hand side. My brain knew what I was doing. My fingers just didn't understand the assignment. Okay. I'm using tear and tape here because I have control over where I can actually have the adhesive. Okay. You ever do that? You're working on something and you lay down your tools and you lose everything? So now I'm going to go ahead and just glue this down to our card front. I can't find my take your pick tool. It's probably laying right here in front of me and I just can't see it. So we're going to glue that down right there. Then I'm going to grab my pot, clay pot. We're going to add some dimensionals. We're going to glue it down to the front. Like so. I'm going to grab our watering can. Add a dimensional to the center, and then another piece of small dimensional. A small piece, I'm just snipping it from the edge. I swear, sometimes I would lose my head. If it wasn't attached right. Anybody else ever feel that way? Okay. So I'm going to remove the backing. I'm going to add that right there. Then I want to find a little packet here. I'm going to try to find this little branch of flowers. Needle in a haystack here. There's little butterflies. I think that's a badger. Lambs. Squirrel. Oh, I think this is it right here. Yep, right there. Okay, I'm going to take some adhesive and just put some glue on the back of this. And just tuck it behind our flower pot here, like it's growing out of the flower pot. And then I've already pre-colored and cut a shovel, little teeny tiny shovel here. And I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of this as well. And then we're going to put that down underneath our pot like it's poking out of the pot too. Then I want to grab our sentiments again, and we're going to add this little hello sentiment to the front of our card. Or you could even do lots of love. There it is right there, little bitty. Can add a little bit of our glue to the back. Position that on our card front. Add a couple of antique pearls and we'll be done. Okay, so here's our cards for today. We had these two and these two here, and then we had our other two cards that we did on Tuesday. So here's the cards for this week. If you are oh, come on. Sorry. I hit the wrong, when I move my mouse, it moves my desktop. Okay, so these are the cards that we created this week. If you are interested in the card kit for these cards, please, all you need to do is place a $50 order in my online store before Sunday, and I'll send you the card kits for free. It will have everything that you need to create the cards, with the exception of any pre-stamped images. You'll need to have your own stamps and ink to stamp your own sentiments and your own images. You'll need your own coloring. I can't send anything that's pre-stamped or pre-colored, but you'll receive everything else from me as a thank you. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me a message. Feel free to join my Facebook group, and please like and subscribe my YouTube channel. That really helps me out. I would appreciate that. And if you enjoyed today's class, please join me next week on Tuesday at 10 a.m. for coffee and cards. And I'll see you next week. Have a great weekend and happy stamping.